Good to go?
Good to go.
Yeah. Well, appreciate everyone coming out. Wanted to just kind of get an update on a few things as now the spring semester is underway. You guys have been putting in work starting last week, getting into the weight room and going, and we've had some additions, mid-year transfers, close to 11 guys that have joined the program and started to work out. I feel awesome about that group. Really both sides of the ball, we were able to add to the roster on both sides, defensively, really at all three levels, D-line, linebacker, and in the secondary. Offensively, quarterback position, solidifying that, feel really good there. O-line, tight end, and so it's a good group. And so that adds to, we've got 9 high school freshmen that joined us last week as well, so close to 20 guys that have added to the roster, and guys are going to work in the weight room with Coach Mack and all of that. Also want to continue to thank you, the warm welcome around this community, being here about a month and a half, going to basketball games even on Sunday. Awesome win there. Coach Izzo's continued to just been a great advocate, mentor through all that. Joining the locker room after the game was a bunch of fun for me and my family. Had a Zoom call with former players last week, close to 200 guys on the call, just introducing myself, getting to know their stories a little bit. This welcome has been great. Speaking tonight at the high school clinic here in East Lansing with the Michigan State High School Association's annual clinics. We're looking forward to doing that and getting around the local high school coaches and things. Finalized, our 10 position coaches with the announcement of Coach Demetrius Martin, known actually me for a long time, all the way back to recruiting his brother in Southern California, and so to bring another alum of this place that knows this place, deeply passionate about this place, excited for him to be able to join us and help us out there in the secondary. His resume, let alone his recruiting without question, but knowing this place and then the resume and how he develops players. He's had some big time players under his watch, so that's been a really good thing. It's been fun for our guys. Really started last week, first time getting into this Tom Izzo football facility and diving into that weight room. It's been I know our guys have enjoyed that, putting in the work and going, and so we want to put in a couple of good months of work leading into spring ball that again will start kind of toward the end of March. Definitely want to congratulate Coach D'Antonio on getting inducted in the College Football Hall of Fame. Got the opportunity to talk to him again on that. What a well-deserved honor by a big-time man and coach. And so that's been something really, really special. But it doesn't slow down. We've been on the road recruiting. Shoot, I was on the road the last couple of days. Today in town, we'll leave again tomorrow, just to recruit Friday, and the next 2 weeks, me and the staff, we're working really hard. Got another signing date coming up, but also just building relationships, inroads within this greater area, because there's a lot of good players and a lot of big-time coaches that it's been awesome to kind of meet them and keep us really busy. Kind of with that, questions?
Hey, Jonathan, from your it's been almost 2 months since you took over. Obviously, everything's really fluid. I guess, how do you feel? Do you get a sense of kind of this is what we got going into spring, and like feel for the roster with the guys you just you talked about the transfers, and then the guys you're able to get to pull their name out of the portal and remain in the program?
Yeah, it feels like each day, each week, you get a better feel for the roster, especially now getting around them and a little bit in the weight room, working out. I feel like we've got some depth. It was awesome with some of the guys that did explore some options in the portal and chose to come on back. We got some leadership, some experience that came back, especially at the line of scrimmage, defensive line and O-line. So you get a feel. We'll definitely have a greater feel getting through spring ball, exactly what we're working with. And I'm excited about that. We got some younger players that, maybe haven't played a ton, but their time is coming. And so to be able to dive into them, and it's going to be all new scheme, offense, defense, special teams, but spring ball will be a great measure and stick of where we're exactly at.
Hey, Coach, happy birthday again. This time is unique with the portal. I mean, you get the new role and the portal's in full effect. Do you have any portal principles for yourself and your staff, or even recommendations for players who may be interested in getting in and getting out? A few things that you can kind of stick to.
Right. Well, I think on our end, as we're exploring the portal, obviously position need or where our ages are at for a particular position, we're looking for guys that have some experience in there. Sometimes you got a history of a relationship beforehand that you're making sure that fits with what you're looking for. There's opportunities in the portal, but I'm just talking generally for those that go into the portal, not always guarantees going into that thing. And so we're trying to stick to our approach, being selective who we're adding to the locker room, high school player, portal player, transfer, that kind of thing, and making sure it's the right fit.
Okay, thank you.
John, I'm wondering about your staff at Oregon State. You brought a lot of those guys with you, brought a handful of players as well. I'm wondering about the continuity piece of that, what that means to you, what it means to the program bringing those guys along, and how, particularly Aiden Childs, you know, he's obviously a pretty prominent guy that you're familiar with as a quarterback coach, and the quarterback, what does he bring to the table?
Yeah, I think, well, just start with Aiden. Yeah, he knows the offense in regards to the terminology and things. It knows it's not even just the offense. Think about the continuity and the culture aspect and how we're doing things on the day-to-day. I think bringing the staff over here allows us to start faster in regards to just how we operate, speaking the language. Position coaches, yes, schematics there, but also even in the weight room. Mike McDonald, the guy been in it for a long time, and so how we're implementing and working there. So I think we've been able to hit the ground running. And then yes, we needed to add some new faces, which feel really good about that. How we've done that a couple spots on defense. Coach Hawk staying here offensively. I like the blend we've had.
John, I guess going off some of that a little bit, I mean, what does it say to you, and maybe what does it say about your program that guys you recruited out of Oregon State wanted to come be a part of it again? And then specifically with Aiden, I guess, as a second-year guy, we know he got some experience out there. What do you see as the next steps for him at that position?
Well, there are some strong relationships that get built over time through a recruiting process or coaching there, and then they were excited about this opportunity here. A few guys, Jack Filling and Tanner Miller, really good players that we know really well. Wanted to continue to be a part of something with Coach Mihalacek and Coach Wozniak and the offense. Aiden in particular, I think he's got the investment of a year of reps and experience in an offense that's going to be very similar over here. I think that was a huge part for him. I do think what this place offers, the passion, fan base, the tradition, the conference and in, all of that was appealing to these guys as well.
What about for Aiden as a player, just next steps that you're looking for him? Is it something?
Yeah, well, he's got next steps for sure, learning and getting around this current roster, right? So the receivers and the timing and the running backs and the O-line and communication that way, adjusting to a new landscape, which he's dove in. I just saw him this morning. He's excited. He's going to go to the hoop game tonight and get around that. So getting adjusted that way to a different environment.
Thank you.
With, obviously it's you get a lot of attention, but when you turn over your whole quarterback room and you lose all the scholarship guys and you bring in, obviously a promising young man, but one who's only, played 100 snaps of college football, how important was it to get Tommy Schuster, to get a veteran and somebody who kind of knows, and how was it recruiting a guy when he knows that you got to.
Yeah, Tommy was a really good addition in a lot of different ways. Yes, played a lot of football at the college level, a lot of snaps, a lot of experience, a lot of reps there. He was well understood what the quarterback room is currently over here, and so we feel awesome about Tommy and the experience and how competitive he is to come on board and dive into this offense, get a bunch of reps in the spring along with the 2 freshmen. So you talk about going from 0 scholarship to 4. Coach Langer, the recruiting staff, did an awesome job flipping it there.
Jonathan, can you tell us a little bit more about Tanner Miller's story? Is he a guard or a center for you? And having been a walk-on, seeing him, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, great story, because he was a walk-on initially. And we did talk about, earning his opportunities as a walk-on and took advantage of everything. His first couple of years kept on plugging away. And then his position flexibility, guard or center, leadership, understanding, command at the line of scrimmage, needing to make some calls, all of those things. Plays the game physical, but he's overly athletic. So his story from where he started to really becoming a leader and a guy you can count on, we feel awesome about him coming over here.
Jonathan, you talk about being a development program, a place where, and when you see the 2 finalists in the national championship game being from programs that have sort of done it in that mold versus sort of maybe the traditional 5-star blue chip, is there anything heartening in that other than one of them being your new rival? That in the hope that you can get a program to that ceiling when you see it done in that manner.
Yeah, that's where the goal is at, to get it to the highest level of this program here. I do think it shows just the quality of play that's going to be in this Big Ten conference. Both those guys, you know, we compete against, and they'll be in this conference next year, and so it can be done that way in regards to developing, knowing that this conference itself is going to be highly, highly competitive.
Jonathan, a lot of us knew Meat when he was here as a receiver and a DB. What does it say that he was at 6 different programs in the Pac-12, and what does he bring to you?
Well, yeah, because he was sought after continually in that conference because of the development that took place at his position and his recruiting acumen. Just getting to know him, I go all the way back to when I was recruiting his brother, getting to know him there, and it lasted for the last close to 20 years. I like the story where he started in this profession, was a really good player and all of that, but started at the junior college level, kept on working at this thing, made some serious inroads, and really gained respect as his career went on. And feel awesome about him being a part of us.
I know you said that you're still filling out this roster, but when we talked to you at your introductory press conference, you talked about the second signing period going to be really important for you guys. Where do you just feel about what areas that you are still looking to like kind of shore up at this point?
Yeah, on the second signing day in particular, be more on high school in. Probably not going to be a huge amount of numbers, but we're always looking for good players that can add to the roster that fit us. Second signing date in February. There's going to be another transfer portal window after late April where you get opportunity to add your roster there. So we're going to try to take advantage of all those points.
Last time we talked, you didn't have Joe Rossi on board, but I guess what does he bring, both in terms of his experience in the Big Ten and the type of scheme he's going to run? Is it going to be something he installs? Is it something you want to run? Or what's the defense going to look like?
Yeah. From the get-go, his experience in this league and doing it at a really high level was really attractive to me. Now getting around him more and more, I mean, you look at his development at his particular position at linebacker, the relationships he makes with all the defense has been really impressive. He'll run things defensively. I didn't come in, we didn't really talk a ton about scheme even through the interviewing process. It was more about philosophical approach, practicing how we're developing. Let's go on the schematic side. He'll dive into this roster, learn what we've got, and make sure we're putting him in positions to have success.
When you have some coaching changes that are late after the playoff, and then that 30-day window opens up for another, I guess the question is, are you done for now in the portal, or when you get 3-4 rosters and trickle-down effect that are now in flux, is there a chance that you stay in the mix there through the next 30 days?
Yeah, what makes it difficult is those guys that, have an opportunity to go in the portal in the next 30 days, you still need to get into school here, and semester school started last week, so I don't see us being heavy at all currently this month type. But again, I go back to they get in the portal, we can still arrive here starting in May, June. I can see us being in that pretty good.
Jonathan, real quick, do you know when you're going to start spring practice and kind of how that is going to work out?
Yeah, we're tightening it up, but it's going to be toward the third week of March. We're going to try to go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays for about 5 straight weeks. We'll get those exact dates to you, but it's going to be the second, third week of March.
Okay. And then with the guys that put their name in the portal and pulled it out to remain here, I guess what were those conversations like when they're getting a feel for, other than Courtney, is the only, coach routine, just, selling your vision?
Yep, understood, with all they've been through, and really the dynamic of college football now, they can go explore some options and things. Did try to recruit them, just spelling a vision, how we want to do things. A lot of those guys chose to stay here, I do think, because they love Michigan State and the tradition and what this place means and has done. The current locker room, a lot of those relationships with the current locker room was a huge factor for them to come back. And then, yes, there was getting to know what we're going to be about. I think that all is appealing to those guys.
With Jack Villan, can you talk about him, about what kind of player he is for people who have not seen him play yet around here, and also how unique is it to re-recruit a player and these other players that you were just coaching a few weeks earlier?
Right, with Jack, his skill set, he's been really effective in the pass game, but more than adequate at the line of scrimmage and blocking. He's got some position flexibility in regards to where he lines up. He can line up outside, he can line up attached to the tackle and being really effective. He's effective in the red zone for us in a big way the last couple of years. And so we're hoping that continues. unique to, re-recruit a guy. In some ways, it was a little bit easier in regards to he knew kind of scheme what we're gonna run, the day-to-day, his position coach, the coordinator, the head coach, and so more of it was just exposing him to what Michigan State's all about academically, because he's a really good student, and he felt good about choosing us.
We last talked to you, things are moving 100 miles an hour in about 3 weeks, transportal influx. I'm just wondering how much more, now that you have your staff in place, some semblance of a roster, sort of, to be there. I don't know if your family's moved or what, how much more do you feel like your feet are on the ground right now than you did 3 weeks ago? And have you been able to get your family situated out here? What sort of they're doing?
Yeah, it's slowed down to an extent. There's still a lot going on. Feeling more and more established, like I'm saying, getting around basketball, hockey events. Family's been over here a couple of times, have not landed on where we're going to exactly live. We're hopeful to get them over here in the next month, full time. And so you feel more and more settled, but there's still plenty to do. I will say my excitement level from day one to where it is now stayed consistent and really enjoying and diving into this thing. So family in a month, roster feeling better and better each day, knowing these guys, cannot wait for spring ball.
Jonathan, when you first hired here, I remember we talked a lot about you trying to ingratiate yourself in the Midwest. You said your staff would reflect that. Now that the staff is set, how do you feel in that regard? What are those early returns when you're out on the road having conversations, and just what do people want to know, I guess, about you guys, and how do you feel like you guys have sort of tried to show your face, around the area and whatnot?
It's been intentionally where we started this January in recruiting. Every coach was in the state of Michigan, going out and seeing high school coaches and players. Slowly began to branch out, still within about this 3-4 hour window. There's a lot of players and a lot of good coaches in the neighboring states, and so we're intentionally doing that. I've enjoyed getting to know some new coaches, some new areas, all of that. Anxious about getting guys on campus. We've got a junior day coming up, spring practice, more and more recruits coming around. Go back to, again, the high school clinic tonight, speaking out. And so the reception has been good. I think there is an excitement and a buzz about Michigan State right now. We want to keep that going.
Who were some of the players maybe that were here last year that have helped in terms of leadership for you and the coaching staff?
Yeah, Derek Harmon, right at the top, Simeon, those two guys have been great. Gino, we've been wanting to continue to explore. He was one that, again, is a Spartan, wanted to be back here around this room and going. Those guys stand out to me.
Also, how unique is it these days with the transfer portal, how important it is? I know that you come from a program where evaluation is so important. Sometimes with the transfer situation, players are in there, and I imagine the decision-making process has to be quicker. Every coach has to do that. How has that been?
Yep, it is quicker than a traditional maybe high school process. You get to know them for a year and a half. You have a lot of phone calls, videotape, phone calls with not only the prospect himself, family, network, former coaches, guys you work in that avenue of maybe knowing a coach or two on a previous staff that the recruit's leaving. So you try to be thorough as possible, but it is urgent, it is quick. These guys are making quicker decisions. That's why, again, the lead up of knowing kind of where we're at positionally, what can fit, how many years, 1-year player, 3-year player. Cole Moore, this recruiting department, Mike Dock, those guys did a great job of kind of targeting our needs and finding players that fit that.
When you look back on those evaluations, players like Quinn Dunnigan from Middle Tennessee State and Jordan Turner from Wisconsin, some guys with some experience. What did you see when you looked at those guys?
The experience stood out because you can actually watch a lot of tape there. Again, phone calls, even Jordan Turner going all the way back. He originally started Wisconsin. Paul Chris, good mentor of mine, talking to him. So you get some evaluations from other coaches. And there was some needs. I want to create competition at every position, and especially on defense. I think we did that, D-line, linebacker, and secondary level.
Okay, one more from Steve.
Jonathan, just curious, Chad's title is rush ends coach, and then you got Demetrius with corners, and then Blue is second. Will there be some sort of crossover between Langy and Chad, and then Blue and Demetrius? How will that all sort of work?
There will definitely be some crossover with those two position groups, just the amount of guys in that room. You want to be able to nail down and get some individual attention. So Blue, Meat working well together. Yeah, Meat will be heavy against us on the corner, but you got corners out there, you got safeties out there, you got nickel. Sometimes the nickel is coming from the safety room or the corner room, so there'll be crossover there. Same way with Laney and Chad working well together. Yeah, the edge of the defense, Chad will be heavy with that, but there'll be, line games take place. So there's two different position groups making line games. They'll be working heavily together.
All right, that's it. Thanks, Coach.
Awesome, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.